What's up, everybody? It's Troy Cartwright. Welcome back to another episode of 10-Year Town. At the end of this episode, we got a few announcements for you, so make sure you stick around. And if you haven't already, make sure you're signed up for the 10-Year Town community, which you can do at 10yeartown.com. Thanks. Today's guest is the exuberant JT Harding. You know him from songs like Smile, recorded by Uncle Kracker, Somewhere With You, recorded by Kenny Chesney, and Sangria, recorded by Blake Shelton. JT is a one-of-a-kind guy. His story is so inspiring. I learned a lot from this episode, and I know you guys will too. So without further ado, here he is, JT Harding. JT, man. Thanks for being here, dude.
Did it already start?
Yeah, we're rolling.
We're rolling?
We're rolling right now.
Don't touch that dial. You're about to smile. We're going to get wild. Turn up the sound. Let's have a blast. It's the 10-Year Town podcast.
Let's go.
Woo!
Man, we need you here every episode.
Dude, you've had Liz Rose, Matt Ramsey of Old Dominion, Craig Wiseman. This show has more hits than a vape pen at a Morgan Wallen show. I mean, jeez, man. Glad to be here.
That's amazing. Yeah, dude.
Speaking of Morgan Wallen.
Yeah?
He came out on stage, you may know it's unexpected, at the Ella Langley show at the Ryman. The crowd was screaming so loud,
Were you there?
I hope I can still have babies. Yes, I was there. Wow. But the reason I bring it up, and I don't know her really, but Ella Langley was mesmerizing. She was like a tiger released from a cage. I did a Songwriter round with her in Hawaii.
Yeah.
It seemed like a blink of a firefly ago. It was probably like 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't really even know if she had a deal or anything then. So to go from that, and once again, I don't really know her, but to do a Songwriter show where people are kind of paying attention, to see her sold out the Ryman, it was incredible. So if anyone gets a chance to see her, go see her. I don't have any of her songs or anything. It was the Nashville dream come to life. Yeah. She was a total rock star on that stage.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so impressed with her and like I love the song. Dude, she's got great songs, man.
Great songs. And this like spark and
all the other stuff that you need.
Yes, exactly.
But I just like find myself genuinely listening to her music and like enjoying it, which, you know, there's a lot of stuff that happens that you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe not for me.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, but
you should be a publisher.
Yeah.
But thanks for having me, man. This is fun.
Man. Thank you for being here. And I always start this thing off with the same question, which is, how long have you been in town?
How long have I been into? What time is it now?
Yeah.
Probably about 2000, I think, like 5 or 6. But I was out in Los Angeles before then.
Yeah, you've got quite a story, which I'm sure we'll get into.
A lot of twists and turns.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I've been in town for a while, but when I came here, it was because I got a publishing deal. But, you know, I was beyond a 10-year, town for me. I was in LA for easily 10 years before anything happened.
Gotcha. Yeah. And where did you grow up?
I grew up in Detroit, Rock City.
Okay.
And I started writing songs when I became obsessed with my favorite babysitter. Her name is MTV. Maybe you've heard of her. No, I loved, jumping around with a hockey stick for a guitar, listening to the radio. But once MTV came beaming into our living room, I mean, Eddie Van Halen doing a touchdown dance with his fingers on the guitar, Madonna singing Like a Virgin in a wedding dress, Bruce Springsteen pulling a girl out of the audience. It was real to me.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a cameraman and a lighting crew and some makeup people. I wanted to crawl inside the TV and be a part of this world. And I was like, man, I got to start, writing songs. The first time I saw a Duran Duran video, I thought I was gay for 3 minutes, but that's another podcast. So yeah, I just was like, I got to start writing songs. And that's how it happened.
And you were just like, how do I get close? How do I get into this thing?
You just said it. How do I get closer? How do I get into this world? Exactly.
And is that why did you move like basically as soon as you could, did you move to LA or?
Yes, exactly. I put bands together like most people, and
Yeah.
I'm from Grosse Pointe, Michigan.
Okay.
And there was a battle of bands, which was great because you could act out your fantasies on the stage. But I didn't know anyone who made records. I didn't know anyone in the music business. And the Prince movie Sign of the Times came out. It was like his concert movie.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, it just said Warner Brothers Records, Burbank, California. All my CDs had it all said Sunset Boulevard, all the record companies. So I knew I had to get to California.
Yeah, it's so crazy, man. Like when you have this dream, and for most of us that embark on this journey, you starting really from like negative 20.
Oh, yes.
Because
definitely.
you don't even know where you don't even know where to start. So you're like, okay, well, I guess in my case, it was like, I guess I'll go to music business college.
Yes.
That'll like help me.
I probably
figure
would
it
have
out.
if I knew. I didn't even know about Belmont.
Yeah,
when
I don't know
went
if
to
it
LA.
did me any good, but it's the same. It was the same thing of like, I just got to get closer to the thing.
Totally.
To that fire, where
Absolutely.
whatever it is.
Get as close to the fire. That's great.
And,
You're a songwriter.
Yeah. So you moved to LA, and like, where did you go?
Yes, so I moved to the most unglamorous corner of Hollywood.
Okay.
And I had a little bit of money left over from the Battle of the Bands. And I got
Did you win the Battle of the Bands?
Oh, come on.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Stupid question.
On the cover of my book, we'll get to that's me breaking a guitar at the Battle of the Bands in 8th grade.
Oh, that's
Dude,
cool.
I didn't know that Kiss broke the guitar first, put it back together a little bit, then went out on stage and smashed it. So I swung this guitar over my head. It hit the stage, and it was like Bugs Bunny. My entire body shattered, and the guitar wasn't even scratched. My fillings are still like vibrating from that. It was brutal. I didn't know what to do, so I just threw the guitar in the audience. It was still in one piece.
That's funny.
But you'll love this. I got a job at a used clothing store, and this is all true. And there was one rule at the clothing store.
Okay.
You're not allowed to take the shirt off the mannequin in the window. It was a robin egg blue, bedazzled, sparkly Austin Powers meets Sgt. Pepper's The Beatles shirt. It was the one piece of clothing the owner was luring people into the store to buy used jeans and whatever. So one day I was like at the register practicing my autograph or whatever. The bell above the door rings. I'll never forget it. Right in front of me, I hear this quiet voice. I want that shirt. And I look up, and standing right in front of my naked, steaming eyeballs is Prince in real life. He's pointing at the shirt on the mannequin. I'm not allowed to take it down, so I say, "No problemo."
Yeah.
I jump up in the window. The mannequin, have you ever taken a mannequin apart?
I never have.
Well, yeah, I haven't either. This thing fell like a house of cards. It sounded like bowling balls being thrown through the store. The manager is like as big as a T-Rex. He comes booming out of the break room. "What are you doing?" He was already a little annoyed with me because he wore a Grateful Dead t-shirt every day, and he was like a big guy.
Yeah.
And I said, "You look like you ate Jerry Garcia." So he was really annoyed with me. I gave Prince the shirt. I said, "You can fire me, dock my pay, whatever." Up Melrose, Prince went on his high heels, and man, I just felt incredible. Yeah. But I was kind of kicking myself. Prince had a record label at that time.
Yeah.
Everyone did. You remember Madonna had a label, Limp Bizkit, John Bon Jovi. Everyone had record labels. And I said, "Man, I'm at this used record store. What should I do?" I mean, at the used clothing store. And then I got a job at Tower Records in Hollywood. For those of you that haven't been to a record store, it was like a Whole Foods, but just for records, CDs, everything. And I got a job there and started passing out my demo, and that's how I got my first record deal, just meeting executives there.
Really?
Yes. I was so naive that could happen that it actually did.
This episode is sponsored by the Graphic Guitar Guys. They create eye-catching custom guitar wraps for some of the biggest artists and festivals in the music industry. Their work is perfect for artists and their teams who are looking to add a unique touch to album pre-sale bundles or VIP package items. They also do one-off designs, so if you're looking for a one-of-a-kind gift for a special event, anniversary, birthday party, etc., you can go to thegraphicguitarguys.com. I've worked with Scott myself, and I can personally attest to how easy they make the entire process. Now, back to the show. This is a weird recall. I may just be completely wrong, but did you at one point like meet Brian Koppelman like early on?
Yes. Yeah, you've done your homework. So I would look at CDs, read magazines, Billboard, whatever, look who the names were, the executives, and then in Tower, people would come in, pay with their American Express card or whatever. By the way, every celebrity came in too. It's great. Michael Jackson, Kurt Cobain, Sylvester Stallone, you name it, they came in. And Brian Koppelman put his credit card down, and I said, "Oh, did you sign Tracy Chapman and this guy named Joshua Caddison?" Because Brian would put his name on the back of the CDs. It would say A&R, Brian Koppelman.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, you must really like your job." And I said, "Oh yeah, this is part of my get rich slow scheme working here." So I gave him a demo, and a little bit of time went by, and he called me and asked if I had any more songs, and he signed me to EMI Records.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That's how it all works.
That's how it always, it's just that easy.
Yeah.
I lost that deal. Yeah, thank you. I love Haley's laughing at my heartbreak. Take every high school breakup you've ever had, combine them by 1,000. That's what it feels like when you lose a record deal.
Oh boy, don't I know?
Awful. You know
it's
it.
the worst.
Yeah.
You feel like you're someone stole all your clothes.
Yeah, but not in the good way.
And you've got to walk home, you know?
Exactly.
It's just, it's scary, man.
Yeah, totally.
You know, you think it's all over, but it's just beginning.
Oh, and when I say I had a record deal and lost the deal, I don't just mean like you just lost the deal. I went to New York City, made a record.
Yeah.
Kenny Arnoff, who played drums for John Mellencamp, played on the record. They drive me around in limousines, all these plans for videos. The record, I did photo shoots. The record was sent to me. I mean, I had it all. But I was.
Well, how did it work back then? Like, did the record come out?
It did not come out.
Okay.
Well, EMI closed before it had a chance. But I think if I'm being totally honest, in this unfiltered age, they had decided not to put it out.
Yeah.
But luckily, because I read a lot, I'd read interviews with my favorite band, Kiss. They were in a band called Wicked Lester that got dropped.
Yeah.
Sheryl Crow, you probably know all this, made kind of a Mariah Carey style record after she toured with Michael Jackson. She got dropped, and then she made Tuesday Night Music Club. So I was just thinking like, man, a lot of people lose their first deal. I just knew I had to stay in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So what did you do? What happened next?
Boyfriends, hold on to your girlfriends. We're skipping a lot of ground. I had already been there for about 5 years.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to exhale. I'd been in bands. I'd made these demos. In a weird twist of fate, I got a job working for a really crazy rock star, and I went on tour with him.
Okay.
Don't say his name 3 times, he'll appear.
Okay.
It's in my book, Party Like a Rock Star, but his name is not in there. But it's kind of fun. People like to read the book and try to guess who it is, but I mean, I can tell you if you want to know. I've never really told anyone.
Yeah, please.
But So I got a job working for Marilyn Manson. Wow. And I was in charge of like passing out backstage passes, making sure the party was always going, getting some of his outfits ready. Like I said, don't say his name 3 times. He'll appear.
Yeah,
We've already said it once.
Okay.
We don't want that.
We'll keep the counter going.
Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been, how long did you
It
work
was a
for him?
year. And dude,
Okay.
we went all over the world to places with different cultures, different languages, food that you can't believe you're eating, Russia, Japan, Iowa, the strangest places you can imagine. I hit them all. And that was great. And I lived to tell about it. So when that tour was over, I kind of had a reputation. There's this guy that works for Manson that throws these parties backstage, you know. And my phone started ringing like I was the only PTA mom with Taylor Swift tickets. All of these bands started calling me. But I'm like, man, I had a record deal. I can do this again.
Yeah.
You know? And then the band Linkin Park called me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, wait a minute. They have a record deal. Maybe if I play my cards right, work for Linkin Park, who knows? So I started working for them. They didn't drink. They didn't do drugs. No one was allowed backstage. It was like the most well-oiled machine you could imagine. 6 guys in the band, packing arenas all over the world. So I go around the world again, played it cool, and they started letting me open up for them. They were like, we know you had a deal. They were so low maintenance, I would just work on my songs all day.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't show them the songs. I would just kind of do it in private.
Right.
And they started letting me open up for them. One night in Kansas, I go on stage in front of Linkin Park. The spotlight hits me. I'm out there with an acoustic guitar. And to all you dreamers out there, if you ever get the chance to sing a song you wrote in front of 20,000 people under the white hot spotlight, and all 20,000 people are screaming, you suck, you suck, you. I mean, it gives you a chill, doesn't it? You got to do it. So Lincoln Park, the crowd hated me because they didn't know who's this guy out here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey man, Lincoln Park invited me to stay out here. I'm going to keep playing. They were booing really loud. You couldn't even hear what I was doing. So I finally said, hey, Kansas City, you want to take me on? Why don't you take on me? And I blasted into an acoustic version. Aha, take on me. Troy, anything not tied down was thrown at me. Shoes,
They hated it.
bottles, coins, lighters, raining down like the Animal House food fight scene. Suddenly, like an engine or like an engine of an airplane starting from the front to the back, the crowd starts cheering. I think I'm winning him over. Chester from Lincoln Park had come on stage before his show to save me. He grabs me. I'm bleeding from the head. I was so pumped up, I didn't even know something hit me. He pulls me off the stage. I'm back there. They're wiping my head off. The roadies run out with those giant brooms as big as a water ski that they had in high school.
Yeah.
I heard a roadie yell, JT made a fortune. There's $1,000 in coins out here. The whole stage was littered. They had to clean the stage. Next day, on the cover of the paper, it said, Lincoln Park sells out, another great show. And then 3 lines at the end of the article. The opening band was a one-man band called the JT Experience. Despite bleeding from the head, he played a 3-song promising set. That picture of Chester and I'm bleeding. Chester's got his arm around me, was in the paper. That picture is in my book. And a kid, I don't know how this happened. A kid told his dad about it. The dad told his friend in L.A. The guy said, I think that's JT who had a record deal with EMI. He called me up out of the blue, said, do you have any songs? Send him songs. He said, man, your songs are like 3D movies. You got to go to Nashville. So he called someone here in Nashville, and that's how I got my publishing deal. Wow. Lincoln Park all high-fived me, and here I am, and there you have it.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
what a story.
You're a good listener. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
you're
was
from Texas, right?
I am, yeah.
I was in San Antonio, I think, when I got the call. I've never forgotten it. This guy was like, "Can you tell Lincoln Park?"
Well, what year? So that would have been 2004
or 5. I don't know.
Yeah. So this is funny full circle moment. Not my first concert, but
you didn't boo me off stage.
The first
did
concert
you?
that I ever elected to go to. Let's say that a concert that my parents didn't take me with them to was in 2004, and it was at the American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, and it was Story of the Year, Hoobastank, POD, Lincoln Park.
I was there, and you know what I remember about that tour? Hoobastank used to do a cover of Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and the crowd would go crazy. And the band, I don't know Hoobastank, but they were on the tour. They would kind of all laugh about it backstage, but my hit song meter would kick in, and I would say, these guys should release that.
Yeah.
You know, the crowd would just go crazy. Yeah, dude, I was working that tour. Isn't that incredible?
Crazy.
We are.
Formative moment in my life.
If someone tapped me on the shoulder then and said, hey, man, everything's going to work out. You're going to have hit songs. You're going to meet great people in Nashville. Just take a deep breath. I would have said, man, I hope you're right. Yeah. And thank you. You're a good listener. I mean, I've never met a microphone I didn't like. So, I'm just going, I'm like a hummingbird on Red Bull over here. I got the whole staff laughing. Can you hear me over my outfit, people? Yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
Just for satisfying my own curiosity, what was like the nature of your job with Lincoln Park? Was it like a tour manager?
I was the band assistant, but coming from Marilyn Manson to Lincoln Park was like you come home from war-torn Vietnam and you can't see straight. They're like, you're going to work at the yogurt store now.
Yeah, so it was very calm.
Lincoln Park, super calm. I really loved, they would get all this fan mail to the arenas. I wanted to meet rock stars growing up. I never thought about writing a fan letter to the arena. I would take all the fan mail, tape it up to the walls. They would read it all. I would get their food. I would set up tables for their meet and greets. They were really, really nice and really low maintenance. And maybe that sounds boring to hear about, but they were so successful. And as we all know now, Chester passed away, but he couldn't have been nicer. Yeah. And I learned a lot, not only from Manson, but from, that's twice. Don't say his name one more time. We don't want him to appear. I learned a lot from them, how serious they were, how much they put into their show, how many fans they met, how hard they worked on their songs, That's why when I play the listening room, people are like, JT's a little over the top. He's planning out the set list. He's telling us all where to sit. It's like, come on, I want to give people something money can't buy,
Yeah. Yeah, you
And I
want
learned that
to
all
you want to
from these
entertain.
bands. Yeah, totally.
You know, man, that's really cool.
And you were
what
there.
a story. And I was there. Yeah. It was a really weird time in my life because I was changing schools in the middle of the year.
Oh.
And so it was my last day at my old school. And the next day I was starting at my new school. And I was there with all my friends from my old school. And I thought, like, I'm never going to see these guys again.
Yeah. Was your new school far from the other school?
No, it was just like 10 minutes away. It was like,
but at that time, it feels like,
yeah. And I don't even, when I look
state.
back, I don't even know why I changed schools. I was like, I was like like a hyperactive kid. So I was on like, some medicine.
Yeah.
And I think it just made me feel weird. And then you get it in your head, like, well, if I just change schools,
Exactly.
all my problems will go away, I ended up, those guys are still my best friends. So I changed schools, but I didn't really change friends.
Yeah,
So,
that's great. Yeah, I was going to ask you why you changed school.
Yeah, it was just, I think I just wanted to change, and I don't know, it probably wasn't worth it. But that's actually been a good lesson for me in my life of like, I'm in something and it feels bad. And I'm like, well, maybe I just need to like give it a little more time.
Yes,
How many
definitely.
times in this town have you wanted to just hang it up?
Yes, well, you said it best. Or, if I was only at this other publishing company, or if I
Right.
only was in the camp with these people. And I have an incredible publisher. You may know him. Hopefully you do, Rusty. Yeah, you know him, Rusty Gaston.
Yeah, of course.
And he always says there's no magic button.
Yeah.
For all of you aspiring songwriters out there or hit songwriters, he's like, half of the town are only doing, acoustic demos without any instruments. The other half are doing AI demos. Everyone's like, yeah, it's like what you said. It's like changing schools. But if you just kind of, stick it out and, work hard, you'll make it. Not that I, worked that hard in school. I was reading Rolling Stone magazine,
Yeah. But it all worked out for you. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I hope my parents don't hear this. They think I'm at college, actually. All right, go ahead.
So you come to Nashville.
Yes, I
you
come
got
to
it. You got a
Nashville.
publishing deal,
Yes. Woo!
and it's off to the races.
Off to the races. I'm working hard, got to this publishing deal, getting a weekly paycheck, bang, 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 and then they dropped me. So now I've lost a record deal, I've lost a publishing deal, a writing deal, and we can laugh about it now, but it never feels good. Now I know, I kind of feel that everyone kind of needs their first deal, kind of to see like how it all kind of works.
Yeah.
But then the best thing ever happened to me, and the reason I say that, after I lost that deal, felt like I had nothing going for me, I met Shane McAnally and we wrote Somewhere With You.
Yeah.
Really easy to toss his name around now because he has, tons of hits.
Right.
He didn't have anything going on either. He didn't have a publishing deal. And also I met Uncle Kracker and he and I wrote Smile. So I say it was the best thing that happened to me for two reasons. I knew that even though I didn't have a deal, I didn't want to quit and I just had to buckle down. And also, I own the publishing on both of those songs. And I'm glad I'm not stuck at that publisher that let me go because I'd probably just be there now. And, so it's really, you never know what's going to happen. You just have to, show up and keep working. You have to show up.
Yeah. So
many spray tans ago for Shane thinking about that. Yeah.
when you write a song like that, like I think particularly with like Smile, did you know that in that moment that your life was going to change? Like what was the ride like?
No, I didn't know. So Uncle Kracker was huge with Follow Me, Give Me the Beat Boys. He wrote All Summer Long with Kid Rock. He co-wrote all of these Kid Rock songs. He's from Michigan, but we didn't know each other. And we spent a weekend in Michigan writing songs. A mutual friend told him about me, played him some of my songs. And I think some of the songs we wrote that weekend I thought were pretty good. But when we wrote Smile, it was like there was 5 feet of snow outside. I just felt like the snowflakes were suspended in midair.
Yeah.
The kids skating out on the lake transformed into the Charlie Brown kids singing along with us. I knew in my blood and bones it was a hit. I just knew it.
Yeah.
But then he was in an interesting place as well with his record company, and they didn't really return his calls for a few years. So Smile was just waiting there on the shelf.
Yeah.
But luckily things worked out and it did come out. And then I don't know if I thought it was going to change my life, but it felt great, hearing it for the first time on the radio. I mean, that never gets old. I mean, my heart skips a measure every time I hear a song of mine on the radio.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it was his title, I got to say.
Okay.
It was Kracker's title, and he had the best line of the song, "Cooler than the flip side of my pillow."
Yeah.
But when we get into songwriting, I can tell you what I think about, cool lyrics.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because that I don't even know how
what
big
school
that
were
song
you changing
was.
to when you heard "Smile" for the first time?
Yeah. Well, what I was gonna say is it's so weird how we perceive hit songs as professional songwriters in Nashville because I'm like aware of where the charts are now, and I've been paying close attention for the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, because it's your friends or whatever, and they get a number one, and you're so stoked for them. But then you hear like, I think Big Green Tractor like died at like 13 or something. I don't know if that's true, but
I don't. But it's incredible.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
There's hit songs that are not always number one songs, but they just last forever. I feel like I have no idea what "Smile" did. I'm sure it did very well on the charts as well, but like you still hear it all the time.
Yeah, and at that time, I didn't really know what the chart was or how it looked or where you would look it up. But I agree with you. I've heard incredible stories lately about how "Running on Empty" by Jackson Browne was really never a big hit, but it's a classic now.
Yeah.
Or "Surrender" by Cheap Trick. I don't even know if it got in the top 40. Now you just hear it everywhere.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think anyone except in our bubble really thinks about that.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about this. I love "Cop Car" by Keith Urban.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think like, oh, that was a massive 10-week number one. But my great friend Matt Jenkins wrote it with Sam Hunt. I don't think it was a number one song. Not that it matters. It's a great song.
Right.
Yeah.
But
so "Smile" became so big, like just on the radio and stuff. And then a DJ in Detroit started playing it on the country station. And then it crossed over to the country chart. It was totally unplanned out. And believe me, we've been trying to do it ever since with every song we wrote. And kids, it ain't easy. So, and I don't know what it did on the chart, but it sold a lot of copies and it was big in Australia. It's been used in movies and TV. And when Regis retired from whatever show he was on, they played the whole song, everyone holding up signs. It was used at the Olympics. I mean, it's like you said, it does change your life, but it makes you want to write the next one. You know?
Yeah, you just want to do it again.
Yeah, totally. And people think that, oh, you had a couple of hit songs, all the doors just open wide open for you, but that's not necessarily true. I still have to go in every day and try to write the best song in town. How you do that, I don't know, but I mean, definitely people want to write with you more, but it doesn't make it easier to come up with a great song. People aren't just saying, he put out "Smile, let's just put out any song he's written."
Right. Yeah. Well, how do you, the accolades and the success, it definitely helps.
Yes.
But
shopping
you
is
still
my
gotta,
cardio. Shopping is my cardio.
Yeah, you gotta. I'm sure your clothes budget's got to be out of this world. Yeah. But how do you? Because you do still get up probably most days of the week and write songs.
Yes.
And so how do you stay inspired? Like what makes a song good? In your opinion?
I stay inspired by hearing a new song on the radio or a classic song from the 80s, whether it's, "Teenage Dream" or "Fast Car," or just going back to the Ella Langley show. She played this song called "Nicotine" I hadn't heard. That makes you think like, man, this is a great song. I got to get in there and start, writing.
Yeah.
There's a song by the band, I think they're called My Morning Jacket, called "Time Waits" or "Time Waited." I heard it on the radio. It was like a wrecking ball hit me when I heard it. That's how I stay inspired. And also writing, I try to surround myself with people more talented than I am, so I stay inspired that way. And I also know that there's a lot of young songwriters, getting up every day and running down to Music Row and writing all the time. So that's how I stay inspired,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And also working with, new artists that maybe have just got to town, but they've got some things going on online. When I get in the room with them and they have these wild ideas about, let's put trumpets all over it and stuff. It's like, wow. So it's pretty easy to stay inspired.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, some days the last thing I want to do is go and write a song, but I find once I get there and I'm in the room, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. You're locked
I also
in.
drink coffee like I'm going to the electric chair.
Yeah, oh my God. That's so funny. Yeah, man, it's I think that's just something that I've really been thinking about a lot and getting to enjoy asking people is like, what is the thing? Because it's easy to get jaded or bored or, you know,
Totally.
especially now it's like November, you're like, year's almost over.
Yes.
Nobody's cutting anyway.
All that stuff.
Let's just hang it up, you know,
Yeah,
for the
you know,
year.
and maybe I didn't answer it correctly. I'd really, really like to, if anyone out there is listening that hasn't had a hit song and they're trying, I try to really give good advice and not just give platitudes. I think I try to stick to the big words I know, like gymnasium, but I've learned platitudes. So if I do feel like I'm not thinking of anything, or if I'm a little bored or uninspired, I like to take trips, whether it's visiting my family out in Santa Barbara or taking a writing trip, you know, down to New Orleans, or I love going to New York City. The last thing I'm thinking about is writing a song, and then a bus will go by with like a, you know, a cool thing on the side of it that says like, we own the night or whatever.
Yeah.
Once you kind of stop thinking about songwriting, the ideas kind of come. Or also you're playing guitar at home every day, nothing's coming out of it, switch instruments, jump over to the piano. I mean, I can barely play the piano, or, you know, get on the drums or something. I think that helps, you know?
Yeah, I think
also
that's
reading,
huge.
watching movies.
Right.
Yeah.
All
of
that
that
stuff.
stuff. It'll just spark something.
Yeah, I think living your life is so underrated for
It is.
getting inspired. I love to travel. I love going to New York.
Yeah,
I
and you don't have to have a
remember-
lot of money to do that. Jump in the car, go down to
Yeah.
the beach somewhere, sleep with your friends, bring a guitar.
Well, I think it's just getting out of your normal routine headspace. You're more open to receiving the, you know, like I have
Absolutely.
this song I wrote that's not out yet. But it was inspired by, I was just like at a museum and somebody walked in, and then I saw some other guy try and go up and talk to her, and I'm like, this is a song. This is like whatever this thing is. This is what it's all about.
Absolutely.
You know? And then I'm like become obsessed with like, how do I take this thing that I saw and turn it into a 3.5 minute movie?
Absolutely.
You know, and I love that. I'm so in love with that process. And I think when I feel the most uninspired is when I like open up my phone and I'm like, I don't have anything to write about.
Yes.
And then
exactly.
you end up writing, you know, something that's uninspired, which is just a waste of everybody's time.
Yes. And you know what else keeps me inspired? And it's like the name of your podcast. I love lyrics or song ideas that are so obvious, but no one else has thought of. When I heard your podcast, 10-Year Town, I was like, what a great title, because I say it all the time. It's a 10-year town.
That's right.
But I wouldn't have thought to name a podcast like that. Going back to like what I said about coffee, I've had tons of coffee, espressos, you know, caramel latte, but I've never thought, you can't sleep at night, you're thinking of me, because it's that espresso energy, that Sabrina Carpenter song.
Yeah.
It's finding an idea like that and turning it into a song. I love when stuff like that happens. Like going back to Smile, when Kracker said, cooler than the flip side of my pillow. I'd never heard that before, and I've been flipping my pillow over since I was in my Yoda underoos, you know? I'm like, how have I not thought of that? Everyone listening knows exactly what you mean right when you say it, so that keeps me inspired as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And there's tons of songs like that. I mean, if you just want to write a song called I Love You, I Miss You, whatever, go for it. But there's a million songs like that already. How are you going to make yours stand out?
That's right. Yeah, like what, and maybe you do have a really inspiring thing.
Yeah.
And then when you write I love you, you can make it feel like it matters.
Exactly.
But if you write it with nothing attached to it, it's very hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you wrote a book,
Yes,
which we've touched on.
Enough about me. Let's talk about my book.
That's right. What made you decide?
Great question.
I'm going to write a book.
I'm playing a show at the listening room here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a woman in the audience who I'd never met before. I didn't even know who she was, but I saw people coming up to her. I actually thought it was Carrie Underwood.
Mm-hmm.
It's this like young looking woman out there with blonde hair. Well, her name is Dana Perino, and she's on the television. Some of you may know her, some of you may not. Makes no difference to me. So since she's on the television, she's got a lot of people watching. She said, I was in Nashville and I saw this guy, JT, and he's wearing this crazy leopard outfit. And he was like, went around, got booed off, you know, playing for Linkin Park. This guy should put a book out. And because she's on TV, I started getting DM messages like, "Hey, I heard about you. What's this all about?"
Yeah.
So I contacted Dana, told her thanks. And I got a book deal with Hachette Publishing, like a real book. And you can get it at Parnassus, or it's available everywhere books are. Went #1 on the Amazon, whatever chart they have for crazy songwriters.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I mean, it totally happened out of the blue, but it was really, really fun.
What was that process like, writing a book?
It was really great because I would write a couple of chapters, send it to the book company. By the way, I wrote the whole thing.
Yeah.
I didn't have
No
a ghostwriter.
ghostwriter.
There was no AI involved,
Yeah.
So I would send them a couple of chapters, and then I would wait a couple months for them to get back to me, say what they liked about it or not, and then I would continue writing the other ones. So this was during COVID, and if I was bored or lonely or happy or restless I could just write the book whenever I wanted, and it was really great. And I would just think of different stories all the time. And for anyone out there writing a book, it's kind of like songwriting. I would try to make the stories like, imagine someone's looking at your Instagram, but they can't see it. Imagine. So I would just describe everything, Troy walked in with his cool Keith Urban hair and his ocean blue jean jacket, and the spotlights were like the moon blazing on a summer night. So it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
I really loved it.
That sounds
and
really
I got to
fun.
tell you, man, like the song says, you find out who your friends are. When the book came out, I mean, Nashville just embraced it. Stormy Warren had me on the highway. Amy Page had me on. All of my friends were texting me. People were at Parnassus buying it. It really was kind of eye-opening, really super touching.
Yeah,
How
that's
many
amazing.
people, bought it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like, does it kind of like trace like the story of your life, or
Yeah, it's
is it
kind of
little
like
vignettes?
this podcast. It's kind of
Yeah.
like there's twists and turns and, colorful characters. It's like a movie. I just don't know what the plot is. And I talk about all the hits I've been lucky enough to have. In the back of the book, I say, this is how we thought of the title. This is how we got the song to Kenny Chesney. This is how we got the song to Blake Shelton.
Yeah.
And so if you know a songwriter or someone trying to be a songwriter, the holidays are coming, grab a copy.
That's right.
I also did the audio book. As I said, I've never met a microphone I didn't like. So I did that, and that was a blast too.
Yeah. That's amazing. And you wrote, speaking of, for Blake Shelton, you wrote Sangria, is that right?
Yes.
That is one of my all-time favorite songs.
Really?
I love that song, man. I think it is so good.
Yes. Well, I'd love to take all the credit, but since he's probably listening, Josh Osborne had the title.
Yeah.
And here's what's great about Nashville. He had taken that idea to, I'm not going to name anybody, I think a celebrity or two, a couple other co-writers. They didn't want to do it. And when he told me, I was like, I know exactly what to do with this.
Yeah.
And Trevor Rosen was there as well. And we were talking about the song Wicked Game by Chris Isaac. And Trevor started that, and we just dove into to writing it.
Yeah, it's like the verses too just have the, I don't know. It like pulls you in.
Yes.
It's very like smooth and
Thanks.
spooky kind of.
Now, do you know this? Do you know who recorded Sangria before Blake Shelton?
I do not.
Kenny Chesney recorded it.
Really?
Yes. And I don't know Kenny Chesney. I've been lucky enough to have some songs recorded by him.
Yeah.
But he recorded a full version of it. Some people heard it, but apparently he's obviously a smart guy. You don't become a superstar by accident. And he decided maybe at that time it wasn't right for him.
Yeah.
But then miraculously, Robert Carlton, who was at Smack at the time, now he manages Walker Hayes. I mean, he might be the president of Smack. I can't keep up with it. He sent it to Scott Hendricks, who produces Blake. And here's what I want to tell all the aspiring songwriters out there. There were memos going around who's looking for songs. In big block letters on the pitch sheet, it said, Blake Shelton is not recording drinking songs. So if we had said, well, we better not write a drinking song, Blake Shelton's not going to do it, well, we never would have had Sangria, but we wrote a song that we liked, using melodies we liked, writing about something we wanted to write about, and Blake Shelton ended up recording it. So I always say, be yourself, write your own story.
Yeah.
That's how you break through. Not that I'm the expert. I would have a lot more hits, but yeah. So
Well,
thank
it's
you
like-
very much for the compliment. I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, I do.
You've probably tasted a lot of lips that taste like sangria.
No comment on that.
Wow.
The pitch lists are always interesting. And I feel like I've gotten, everything is like sometimes right and usually wrong, but I think I just got some hold off a band that was like on the pitch list, and I was like, well, I have this song that I turned in 4 months ago that everyone forgot about, but I think this would work for these guys.
That's great.
And then it's on hold. So we'll see what happens. But other times, yeah, it's like, well, Aldean's not looking for town songs, for songs with town in the title, and then the record comes out and it's called like Rearview Town, and you're like, are you kidding me?
It's called Town. Yeah, exactly. And listen, the pitch sheet. Listen, information is power. Is that, or information is knowledge? I forget that quote, but it's good to have the information. But it's also I just tell people all the time that ask me for advice. You got to be yourself.
Yeah.
And right, I think you're right. Looking at the pitch sheet too much can kind of. It's good to know who's looking for songs, but. I think
it's most helpful looking backwards. Maybe you get the list and you're like, oh, I have some songs that I think might work. Where I find it to be uninspiring is when somebody pulls it up in the right before we've even started, and I'm like,
absolutely,
can we just write a good song?
Yeah, that might work for some people. It does not work.
Me
for
neither.
Me. It doesn't work.
It gets me so bummed out.
Yeah, it gets me frazzled,
I feel like we're like hemming ourselves in to writing for an artist that it's like, well, let's just write that song first.
Exactly.
Before we see what happens.
Yes. And if you don't mind me saying, when I met Shane McAnally, neither of us had a deal. We ended up writing Somewhere with You.
Yeah.
Now, if we had written a song about that Kenny Chesney recorded, if we had written a song about a tractor or a cowboy hat or writing your name in the sand on the beach, he probably wouldn't have heard it. Mm-hmm. Or if he did, he already had a lot of songs like that.
Yeah.
But once again, we wrote, from the bottom of our own broken hearts, that song,
right.
melodies we liked, and everyone in Nashville was like, "This isn't a country song. Listen, we don't have any, like, country doesn't have songs with fast singing in it.
Mm-hmm.
They never heard Charlie Daniels' "Devil Went Down to Georgia," apparently. But because it was different, it worked for Kenny Chesney. Once again, I don't know him, but I've read interviews, and he said he was looking for something different, something that had a different groove to it or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I can't stress it enough. You have to be yourself. You have to write something these artists can't write themselves. Kenny Chesney is a great songwriter. He wrote When I See This Bar. He wrote Happy on the Hay Now. So you got to write something he might not be thinking of himself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's so many different places that we could go. I guess a question I was thinking of is like, it's more of like a tactical question.
Oh, yes.
A between the ears question.
Yes.
When you have a song that's like been cut and now it's going to radio on an artist, like how much do you watch it? Does that make sense? Like for your own sanity, do you not pay any attention at all and just let the song do its thing?
I think now, so when you mean like looking at the media base chart and all that?
Yeah, or just like, oh, I'm gonna check the comments or see if it's in the set. I mean, there's a million different ways you can.
Oh, great question! Great question
to lock in.
Yes, I think like when Smile and Somewhere with You were out, also Alone with You that I wrote with Shane. I didn't really know about the charts at that time.
Yeah.
But I would like flip through the stations trying to hear it, and people would say, I hear the song all the time, but I never really heard it.
Yeah.
It's like some weird energy. But yes, then when Different for Girls came out, I remember, and I'm a big Dierks Bentley fan.
Yeah.
Once again, another guy I don't know, but he recorded that. I remember reading in Rolling Stone, he's like, yeah, my new single is Different for Girls, but we're not performing it in concert yet because we're going to see how it does. And I remember I was like looking at the magazine as if like a lottery ticket just blew out of my hand and went down the drain, a winning ticket. I was like, not in his set list. So I definitely do look at it. I don't really, I have gone before and tried to look at comments, but nothing I can really think. Yeah, when Beers and Sunshine came out with Darius Rucker, I remember seeing a lot of good comments and it made me feel pretty good. But the same thing for me, it's like, oh, I'm hearing it on the radio a lot. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's how you know.
I've been in the writing room before with someone really excited to write a song and we're halfway through it and then they just shut down. They're just they've gone from like, a game show host and then they turn into Eeyore. And I'm like, what's wrong with this guy? Well, he was looking at his phone and he saw a song of his that went from number 39 to 42 and it just ruined his day. And you have no control over it.
Yeah.
It's like putting your hand out the window of a moving car trying to make it go faster. It doesn't work. So I try not to look at all that stuff.
Yeah. No, that's
it's hard
that's really
not
good
to when it
advice.
starts getting up there, but yeah.
Well, but it's like even taking like a song on the chart out of it, I feel like it's so easy nowadays to like, I call it like I black out in a write and I like wind up on Instagram. Like I accidentally, I'm distracted and like my brain, my
Totally.
like reptilian brain just like goes to Instagram and then I'm scrolling and then I see this awesome thing that someone else did. And I'm like, why wasn't I invited to the Hawaii?
Keep your phone down.
You know,
in a right.
Yeah, so it
Why
is.
wasn't I invited to Hawaii with Ella Langley? What's JT doing there in the pineapple shirt? Yeah, it just makes us human. You know, I think you got to just focus on writing the song, but we're all the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but I just that's been sort of my the work the thing that I've chosen to work on this year is like in the writer room I try and just keep the phone out of it.
Totally.
I was writing on notepads for a while.
Oh,
just,
I do that all
just
the time.
to keep my, because it's when you even if you're just in the notes app on your phone, it's just a couple swipes away from the infinite void of social media.
Exactly, the infinite void.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And we all do it.
Yeah. Well, last question.
Great questions. Yeah.
Before we get out of here, and I feel like you've given so much great advice already, but if you could go back to your younger self, maybe right before you were about to move to LA and like start this whole crazy adventure, if you could give yourself a piece of advice, what would you say?
Oh, I would say, I think maybe I did this in LA. I mean, I would put bands together. I went on, I didn't have any money, so I went on VH1 Rock and Roll Jeopardy and won, used that money to make a demo, got the job at the record company. But I remind myself this a lot more now. So am I giving advice to the world now or just myself? Yeah. Nobody is ever going to come up to your door and knock on it and say, knock, knock, knock. Hey, is there a songwriter in here? Is there a singer in here? You've got to go out and make it happen. And if you get a publishing deal, that's great. Or if you get a record deal, that's great, but you've got to do the work. No one is just going to be sitting there trying to do everything for you. So get out and make it happen. And if you don't know, if you're in Nashville or any small town out there or big city, and if you don't know where to start, just like take those first steps. If you're trying to write songs, go to an open mic night and meet people that are writing songs. And then, try to write with them, try to perform, send, you have the internet at your fingers now. Just, send messages to people that you might want to write with,
Yeah.
Make sure you write Troy so he can be distracted during his writes. That's what I would say. Be really self-motivated and just go out and make it happen. And dude, I went to so many of those open mic nights, and like a 2-hour open mic night can feel like a year of Sundays. They're just awful to sit through, but you'd be shocked at who you're going to meet and how it's going to all work out. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to go out there and create opportunity.
Yes.
I was reading this
and stay
thing.
wild and stay weird. Don't let the internet make you think like you have to be this way or that way. Like going back to what I said about, writing Somewhere with You and try and not writing the drinking song that turned into a Blake Shelton song. Just be yourself, write your own story. I have found the most personal details of my life, the ones that I think no one's going to relate to, are the ones that people really relate to and become hits. So just, don't try to copy what's already on the radio. By the time you write a song that sounds like that trend is going to be gone like the Pedal Tavern that just passed you full of bachelorettes. But yeah, go ahead.
No, that's right. You're like, don't lose your edge.
Yeah. Don't lose your edge.
Your edge is like, that's the whole thing.
Yes.
What you've got, what is unique to you is the thing that we want.
Exactly. Yes.
What I was going to say earlier was just that I think optimism is a very positive trait. I think there's kind of like two different kinds of optimism. There's like indefinite optimism where it's like, oh, well, it will all work out. Like the arc of the world bends towards justice or something. And that's good. But I think it's important to be like specifically optimistic. Yes. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to make some demos, I'm going to do VH1 Rock and Roll Jeopardy. I'm going to try and create some opportunities. Which requires you like putting yourself out there.
Yes.
Which is so it can be
Scary.
so scary.
Exactly.
And the other thing is, you put yourself out there. Like sometimes you get hurt. You get hurt.
Oh, it's brutal. And I was leaving demos at offices. I mean, I borrowed someone's FedEx jacket to sneak into record companies. LA's not like Music Row.
What?
LA's not like Music Row. You can walk in anywhere here. In LA, they had metal detectors. You couldn't get in. Yeah, I knew this girl whose roommate worked at FedEx. And I borrowed the jacket, and like Obi-Wan Kenobi, dancing into the Death Star, I passed every front desk and filled I put my CD in all the mailboxes. But the reason I bring that up is, if someone didn't like it, I didn't hear from them. It wasn't online with 100 people going, "You suck, you're terrible."
Right.
So anyone, all these people are posting online, and it's like, I know it really, they can get their hearts broken pretty quick.
Yeah. But
you still got to do it. Going back to what you said.
Yeah, you just like, I think you do it long enough. The rejection, it doesn't ever not hurt.
Absolutely.
It just hurts
Always
less.
hurts. Yeah.
You kind of get used to it.
Totally.
And then, I heard somebody say, it was like this independent artist named Nick D. He was on a podcast and he said, what if you knew that you were going to get a yes, but you had to get 30 no's first? Wouldn't that make you excited to get told no?
Absolutely.
And I thought that was really good.
That's great.
Yeah.
And in the music business, it's 1,000 no's before you
Of
get
course.
to a yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. My heart's been, broken more than the ice cream machine at the McDonald's in Green Hills, thanks to the music business. But hey, man, here I am. And thanks for having me. This is great. You're doing a really great thing, because I know there's tons of people. I've heard about your podcast all over town from hit writers that are like, oh, did you hear this or did you hear that? And so hopefully to all the writers out there that are just trying, they're learning a lot. And to anyone out there that has yet to have a hit, just remember, the world's always going to need a hit song. And a song that you write is going to be the soundtrack to Butterflies of 1,000 First Kisses. A parent in a hospital visiting their child is going to lean into your song. Your song is going to give someone the courage to call up someone they haven't spoken to in years and forgive them. And the world's always going to need hit songs. It's going to be someone sitting here on this podcast talking about a hit they've written. So it might as well be you, the person listening. And I can't wait to hear everyone else on this show.
Amazing, dude. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. That's it. That's the pod.
Party Like a Rockstar is the book. Get it, people.
See you later. Hope you guys enjoyed that episode. Quick correction. I said Big Green Tractor never made it to #1. And what I actually was thinking of was She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy by Kenny Chesney, which peaked at 13 somehow. Just goes to show you, some songs, it doesn't matter if it's a #1 or not. It's still a hit. Thank you guys for an amazing year of 10 Year Town. Thank you guys so much for listening. It was our biggest year ever, and that is all thanks to you guys. I hope you have a very happy holiday. We've got some really exciting stuff planned for 2026, and we'll see you in the new year. We appreciate you.